Tony Robertson, what brings you to Harlow this morning?
I'm an Essex boy. Why wouldn't I want to come to Harlow? I used to live when I was very young in South Woodford. Well, I say very young. Like when I was in my mid to late teens, we'd meet at the coffee bar in South Woodford on a Saturday night. Come out to Harlow for the dancing. That's when, if anyone ever says Harlow to me, I think dance hall.
And you've just spoken to the Labour group here.
Yeah.
There's some key messages on a whole range of issues that you've already pinpointed. Would you like to maybe bring out two of them?
Hey, yeah, well, I suppose just the big one is that every poll that has been taken so far says that there are more people who want to vote Labour in this election than who want to vote Tory by a long margin. But that doesn't mean they will. They only will if they actually turn up and vote. So turning up to vote, I think, is the biggest message for me. The other message, which people don't talk about much in elections, people always talk about the leaders, don't they? I think we have the most incredible shadow cabinet, and I've got to know an awful lot of them over the last few weeks or so. And I just wanted to pass the message on that real government isn't just about the leader, however great they are, and I think the way Keir has turned the Labour Party around has been absolutely fantastic. But actually, there is a wealth of other people out there who would be supporting him if we do get in. And honestly, you know, how many members of the actual cabinet can most people who are listening to me now remember? Not very many. It's pretty flipping desultory, isn't it? But it won't be under a new Labour government.
And have you been impressed? I mean, January 21, Hartlepool by-election, Keir Starmer contemplating really quitting. Are you impressed how the fortunes have turned? And you put a lot of those fortunes down to the Labour Party under Keir Starmer.
The last election, it felt like we had it. A lot of people were saying the Labour Party is dead. What Keir has done has been to turn the Labour Party round with a kind of strength and focus and resolve that you couldn't really imagine. And it's hard to believe somehow because he's such a charming looking bloke, isn't he? Such a kind of serious looking bloke, such a modest kind of bloke. But you don't necessarily think that grit and resolve are two of his best characteristics. But if you're inside the Labour Party and have seen how he's managed to turn it round, you know he's a hard man.
And just a couple more questions. People, you're knocking on doors. You're all over the country. People say they're all the same and apathy. What's your message to those people?
My message is that the notion that all politicians are the same is quite absurd. It's been brought about in the main, I think, because people justifiably have been so cynical of the last three Tory prime ministers. We just ain't like that. We're just not like that. You can see that actually. I think if you look on the telly and you know look at the faces of the senior Labour figures, we're different. We have different values. We genuinely care about the cost of living, for instance. It's not just a phrase for us. That's about people's lives.
And finally, as I said, it's your story number 90 from in the general election. And I'm with all the parties, but you must have a message for the people behind you, those activists who week in, day in, night in, they go and knock on doors.
I think it's terrific that we still live in a society where an awful lot of people are prepared to go out and work hard in order to get their party elected. I think it's so fundamental to democracy. I hope it never changes. And there is something terribly sad about the collapsed Conservative Party. We need to have genuine debates about the future of our country. And you can't with this lot. They are not. You can't even really call them Tories, I don't think. I think they're a real shame and disgrace to British democracy. And I really, I pat the people on the back who are still out there, still doing a job, trying to keep the debate going about the way forward for our country.
But finally, people of Harlow, get out and vote.
You only once in every 4 or 5 years do you really have a chance as an ordinary citizen to impact on the way. Hey! Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
That was a plug for me. I'm going to start again.
Yeah, right.
Once every 4 or 5 years, each of us as citizens, have the chance to have a say in the future of our country. There's no point just moaning and not getting out. If you really, really care about your country, if you care about your cost of living, about your kids, about the old people, you have one chance to vote, and that comes on Thursday. Take it, seize it, do it, vote.